Do you ever feel like you're stuck in hesitation? You know what you want, but something inside keeps holding you back. What if I told you that your Mars sign holds the key to breaking free and stepping into your power? Mars is the planet of action, confidence, and personal strength. It's the fire inside of you, the force that pushes you forward, helps you to take risk, and fuels your determination. But if you're not working with your Mars energy, you might find yourself hesitating, overthinking, or feeling stuck when it's time to act. Your Mars sign reveals exactly how you're meant to take action. And when you align with it, hesitation disappears and confidence takes over. So if you've ever struggled with fear, indecision, or second guessing yourself, this video is here to change that. So find your Mars sign and let's dive in.
If you have Mars in Aries, your power comes from bold action, raw confidence, and the ability to charge forward without hesitation. You are wired to move fast, take risks, and trust your instincts. Unlike other Mars signs that strategize or wait for the right moment, you are at your best when you just go for it. But self-doubt creeps in when you start overthinking, when others make you question yourself, or when you feel like your energy isn't being fully utilized. If hesitation or second guessing has been slowing you down, it's time to break free and reclaim your power. Mars in Aries is at home. It operates exactly as it's meant to: fast, fearless, and decisive. This is the placement of a natural leader, someone who thrives on momentum, excitement, and challenge. When you trust yourself and take action, you can achieve incredible things in a short amount of time. You are driven by impulse and instinct. Your first reaction is usually the right one. Your approach to challenges is direct and fearless. You don't waste time overanalyzing. You move. You thrive on competition, independence, and the thrill of the unknown. You have a high-energy, go-getter mentality. If something excites you, you'll pursue it without hesitation. Mars in Aries does not wait for permission. You are designed to be a trailblazer, someone who leads with courage and refuses to be held back. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can make you feel frustrated, restless, or even angry at yourself for hesitating. Self-doubt for Mars in Aries often comes from external pressure, overthinking, or feeling like you've lost momentum. Because you are wired for quick, decisive action, any delay or uncertainty can feel deeply uncomfortable. Overthinking slows you down. The moment you hesitate, your energy drops, making it harder to take action. Fear of failure can cause avoidance. You'd rather start fresh than feel like you've failed at something. External opinions can throw you off course. If people question your choices, you may second guess yourself, even though your instincts were right all along. And frustration builds when you feel stuck. If you don't have an outlet for your energy, you may become restless, irritable, or impulsive. When Mars in Aries hesitates, it's not because of fear, it's because something has interfered with your natural ability to act. The key to breaking free is recognizing that you are designed to take bold, instinctive steps. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to move. Mars in Aries steps into its power when it stops hesitating and starts trusting its instincts. You are meant to act quickly, take risk, and learn as you go. The first way to activate your Mars power and overcome self-doubt is to stop overthinking and just move. Your biggest enemy is hesitation. The moment you start overanalyzing, you disconnect from your natural ability to take action. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, make a habit of acting immediately. If you feel the urge to do something, do it within 5 seconds. The longer you wait, the more doubt creeps in. Trust that your first instinct is usually correct. Your gut reaction is your greatest strength. Don't let the fear of making a mistake stop you. Action is better than inaction. Next is to turn fear into fuel. Mars in Aries thrives on challenges and excitement. If fear is holding you back, it's usually a sign that you need to push through it rather than retreat. Reframe fear as a green light. If something excites and scares you at the same time, it means you're on the right path. Take a bold step towards something you've been avoiding. It will remind you how powerful you are. See failure as a part of the process rather than something to be feared. You learn best through experience. Next is to channel your energy into bold, immediate action. Mars in Aries is not meant to sit still. If you've been feeling stuck, it's because you need to move, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Do something spontaneous. Shake up your routine and take immediate action on something you've been putting off. Make movement a daily habit, whether it's through exercise, travel, or new experiences. You thrive on physical and mental momentum. Set quick, action-based goals. Long-term planning isn't your strong suit, but immediate, exciting challenges keep your energy high. Mars in Aries is meant to lead, initiate, and take fearless action. Your strength comes from movement, risk-taking, and trusting yourself without hesitation. The moment you stop waiting and start acting, self-doubt disappears. You are at your best when you follow your instincts and charge forward without looking back. A great affirmation for you is, I trust my instincts. I take bold action without hesitation. If this resonated for you, be sure to let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you on your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Taurus, your power comes from persistence, stability, and unshakable determination. Unlike other Mars signs that rush forward with impulse or strategy, your strength lies in your ability to commit, endure, and build something real. You don't just start things, you finish them. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel pressured to move faster, when progress seems slow, or when external forces try to shake your confidence. If hesitation or resistance has been keeping you stuck, it's time to reconnect with your natural power and move forward with unbreakable confidence. Mars in Taurus moves at its own pace, slow, steady, and deliberate. This is not an energy that rushes or acts impulsively. Instead, it takes its time, ensuring that every step is grounded, purposeful, and built to last. You are driven by security, consistency, and tangible results. Your approach to challenges is practical and patient. You don't act unless you're sure it's worth your energy. You thrive on stability and long-term rewards. Quick wins don't impress you, but lasting success does. You have immense endurance. Once you commit, nothing can stop you. Mars in Taurus is like an unstoppable force. Once you decide to go after something, you don't quit. While other Mars signs burn out chasing quick success, you build real, lasting power. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can make you feel stuck, resistant to change, or unsure of when to take action. Self-doubt for Mars in Taurus often comes from external pressure, impatience, or fear of instability. Because you operate at a slower, more methodical pace, you may compare yourself to others who seem to be moving faster, leading to feelings of frustration or insecurity. So this can show up as feeling rushed or forced into action. If people push you to act before you're ready, you may shut down completely. This can also show up as doubting your ability to adapt. You like stability, so sudden changes can make you hesitant to move forward. Another is comparing yourself to faster moving people. You may wonder if you're too slow when others seem to be making quicker progress. Also, fear of wasting effort. You don't take action unless you're sure it will pay off, but this can lead to overthinking and missed opportunities. When Mars in Taurus hesitates, it's often because you want certainty before you act. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come from knowing every step. It comes from trusting yourself enough to take the first one. Mars in Taurus steps into its power when it embraces steady action and trust in long-term success. You don't need to rush. You just need to move. In order to activate your Mars power and break free from hesitation, the first step is to trust your own pace. Your biggest strength is your ability to stay the course. While others rush ahead and burn out, you are designed to build long-term success. Stop comparing your speed to others. Your way works. Focus on small, consistent actions rather than forcing big, overwhelming changes. Remind yourself that slow progress is still progress. Next is to move even when you're unsure. Mars in Taurus can hesitate when the outcome isn't guaranteed, but waiting for perfect conditions only leads to stagnation. If you feel stuck, take one small action today. Even the tiniest step builds momentum. Let go of the need for absolute certainty. Confidence grows through action, not before it. Shift your focus from "what if I fail" to "what if this leads to something great?" And finally, use your endurance to your advantage. Your power isn't in moving fast. It's in sticking with something until it succeeds. You are built for longevity and follow-through. Create simple, sustainable routines that help you stay consistent. Lean into your natural persistence. You don't need motivation. You need commitment. And remind yourself that lasting success is built through steady effort, not sudden bursts of action. Mars in Taurus has the unmatched ability to turn effort into real lasting success. Your strength comes from patience, determination, and the ability to keep going when others give up. The moment you stop doubting yourself and start moving at your pace, you become unstoppable. A great affirmation for you is, I move forward with confidence and trust in my steady power. If this resonated for you, drop a comment below. And be sure to like, share this with friends who also need to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. Thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Gemini, your power comes from adaptability, quick thinking, and the ability to take action in multiple directions at once. Unlike other Mars signs that rely on brute force or persistence, you move through life with curiosity, wit, and mental agility. You thrive when things are exciting, fast-paced, and full of possibilities. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel overwhelmed by too many choices, when you overanalyze instead of act, or when you start questioning whether you're capable of following through. If indecision or hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to break free and fully embrace the power of your Mars sign. Mars in Gemini operates at high speed. It's always thinking, talking, moving, and exploring. This is not an energy that sits still or commits to one thing for too long. Instead, it thrives on variety, new experiences, and the ability to pivot at any moment. You are driven by ideas, communication, and curiosity. You need mental stimulation to stay engaged. Your approach to challenges is clever and adaptable. You find multiple ways to solve a problem instead of forcing a single solution. You thrive in fast-moving, dynamic environments. When things feel stagnant, you lose motivation. You have a gift of persuasion and influence. Your words and ideas have power when you trust yourself enough to use them. Mars in Gemini is like a lightning bolt. Quick, unpredictable, and full of energy. But when self-doubt takes over, it can lead to hesitation, procrastination, or feeling scattered and unfocused. Self-doubt for Mars in Gemini often comes from overthinking, indecision, or fear of not following through. Because your mind moves so quickly, you may second-guess yourself or struggle to commit to one path. Too many options create hesitation. When you have multiple ideas or paths to choose from, you may feel stuck instead of taking action. Overthinking replaces action. Instead of moving forward, you may get caught in a cycle of researching, analyzing, and debating your choices. This can also show up as fear of inconsistency. You may doubt your ability to finish what you start, which can make you hesitant to begin. And you may worry about being taken seriously. Because you move quickly and love variety, you may question whether others see you as reliable or serious. When Mars in Gemini hesitates, it's often because you are stuck in your head instead of taking real-world action. The key to breaking free is recognizing that movement is your natural state. Your power is in making decisions quickly and trusting that you can adjust as you go. Mars in Gemini steps into its power when it stops overthinking and starts experimenting. You don't need to have everything figured out before you act. Your strength is in learning as you go. Now, one of the first steps that you can take to begin to activate your Mars power and move past hesitation is to make quick decisions and adjust later. Your biggest enemy is indecision. The longer you debate something, the more energy you lose. Instead of trying to make the perfect choice, commit to one direction and trust that you can pivot if needed. Give yourself a time limit. When making a decision, allow yourself only a few minutes to choose. If you feel stuck, ask, what excites me most right now? And go with that. Let go of the fear of making the wrong choice. Every decision gives you new information to work with. Next is to take action before you overthink. Your mind is incredibly active, but sometimes it works against you. Instead of spending hours analyzing a decision, take one small action immediately to build momentum. If you're thinking about reaching out to someone, send the message now. If you want to start something new, begin with one tiny step today. The goal is to move before your brain has a chance to talk you out of it. And finally, use your strengths, communication, and connection. Mars in Gemini is at its best when engaging with others, sharing ideas, and staying mentally stimulated. If self-doubt is creeping in, you may be isolating yourself or overloading your mind without expressing what you're thinking. Talk through your ideas with someone you trust. Conversation helps you process and gain clarity. Keep a journal or voice notes to get your thoughts out of your head and into the world. And surround yourself with people who inspire and energize you. Your confidence grows in dynamic environments. Mars in Gemini has the unique ability to think fast, move quickly, and adapt effortlessly. Your strength comes from curiosity, communication, and the willingness to experiment. The moment you stop doubting yourself and start taking action without overthinking, you unlock an unstoppable source of confidence and success. A great affirmation for you is, I take action with confidence and trust in my adaptability. If this landed for you, let me know in the comments below. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings below. I'd love to help you step into your power. Thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Cancer, your power comes from emotional depth, intuition, and an instinct to protect what matters most to you. Unlike other Mars signs that push forward with logic, aggression, or strategy, your strength is deeply personal. It's fueled by emotion, connection, and inner security. You are at your best when you feel safe and emotionally supported, but self-doubt creeps in when you feel vulnerable, overwhelmed, or uncertain about how to take action. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to break free by learning how to use your Mars energy in a way that works for you. Mars in Cancer is emotionally driven. While other Mars signs act on impulse or ambition, your actions are fueled by your feelings, instincts, and the need to protect yourself and your loved ones. You don't fight for just anything. You fight for what's meaningful to you. You are driven by emotional connection. You need to care about something in order to take action. Your approach to challenges is protective and intuitive. You don't confront issues head on. You navigate them in ways that feel emotionally safe. You thrive in supportive, nurturing environments. If you don't feel secure, it's hard to take action. You have powerful instincts. When you trust your gut, you make the right moves. Mars in Cancer is not aggressive in the traditional sense, but that doesn't mean it lacks strength. Your power is in your emotional intelligence, your ability to read situations, and your deep sense of loyalty. When you are emotionally invested in something, nothing can stop you. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can make you feel stuck, hesitant, or overly protective of yourself to the point of inaction. Self-doubt for Mars in Cancer often comes from fear of emotional vulnerability, uncertainty, or feeling unsupported. Because you don't take reckless action like some Mars signs, you may feel hesitant when you're unsure of how things will turn out. So this can show up as a fear of getting hurt or rejected. So you may hesitate when there's a risk of emotional pain, as well as uncertainty about the outcome. If you can't predict how something will affect you emotionally, you may avoid taking action. Also, carrying past emotional baggage. You may struggle to move forward if you're still holding on to old wounds. And feeling unsupported. You thrive when you have emotional security. Without it, self-doubt can make you retreat. When Mars in Cancer hesitates, it's often because you're unsure whether taking action will feel emotionally safe. The key to overcoming this is learning to trust your inner strength, rather than waiting for perfect security before moving forward. Mars in Cancer steps into its power when it learns to take action based on inner trust rather than fear of emotional consequences. Your strength is in your ability to move when something truly matters to you. The first step to activate your Mars power is to trust your emotional instincts. Your intuition is your biggest asset. When something feels right or wrong, you know it. Instead of doubting yourself, learn to trust those gut feelings. When you feel hesitation, ask yourself, is this true fear, or am I just scared of discomfort? If something excites you but also makes you nervous, it's usually a sign to go for it. The more you listen to your emotions without overanalyzing, the easier decision-making becomes. Next is to take small steps instead of retreating. Mars in Cancer can sometimes retreat when things feel overwhelming, but your power grows when you take small, manageable steps forward instead of shutting down. Break big actions into smaller, safer steps that feel comfortable to take. If fear is stopping you, take one small action today that moves you forward. Focus on progress, not perfection. Your confidence will grow the more you move. And finally, create emotional safety for yourself. Because you thrive in emotionally supportive environments, it's important to create that sense of security within yourself. When you feel safe, you act with confidence. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you. Use self-care, grounding exercises, or journaling to strengthen your emotional stability. And remind yourself that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. Mars in Cancer is a quiet but unstoppable force. Your strength comes from emotional intelligence, deep intuition, and the ability to fight for what truly matters. The moment you stop doubting yourself and start trusting your emotions as valid guidance, you unlock an incredible source of confidence and personal power. A great affirmation for you is, I trust my emotions and take action with confidence and security. If this resonated for you, let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you in your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Leo, your power comes from confidence, self-expression, and an unstoppable drive to shine. Unlike other Mars signs that rely on logic, strategy, or adaptability, your strength lies in your ability to take center stage, own your talents, and inspire others with your presence. You are at your best when you're pursuing something you're passionate about, leading with charisma, and fully embracing your creative fire. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel unseen, unappreciated, or when you start questioning your worth. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to reclaim your confidence and step into your full power. Mars in Leo operates with passion, creativity, and a strong sense of identity. This is not an energy that hides in the background. It thrives on being seen, recognized, and making an impact. You aren't just here to participate. You're here to stand out. You are driven by passion and purpose. You need to feel connected to what you're doing in order to give it your all. Your approach to challenges is bold and fearless. You naturally rise to the occasion and lead with confidence. You thrive in situations where you can express yourself. When you're allowed to shine, you step into your full potential. You have an inner fire that refuses to be dimmed. When you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Mars in Leo is like a burning spotlight, warm, radiant, and impossible to ignore. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can make you feel invisible, unworthy, or afraid to put yourself out there. Self-doubt for Mars in Leo often comes from fear of rejection, lack of external validation, or feeling like your efforts go unnoticed. Because your Mars energy thrives on recognition and appreciation, not being seen can make you question yourself. So this can show up as a fear of being judged or failing in front of others. You want to succeed publicly, so failure can feel extra personal to you. Next is struggling with self-worth. If you don't feel valued or appreciated, you may hesitate to take action. Next is dimming your light to fit in. So this means you may hold back because you don't want to be too much for others. And also frustration when progress feels slow. You want to be recognized for your efforts, and when results aren't immediate, doubt can creep in. When Mars in Leo hesitates, it's often because you're afraid of putting your full self out there and not receiving the response you hope for. The key to breaking free is realizing that your power isn't dependent on external validation. It's in your ability to confidently own who you are, no matter what. Mars in Leo steps into its power when it fully embraces self-expression, confidence, and fearless action. You thrive when you allow yourself to be seen without holding back. Now, the first step to begin to activate your Mars power and break through hesitation is to own your presence and stop playing small. Your energy is meant to be seen, heard, and felt. When you dim your light to make others comfortable, you disconnect from your natural power. Stop apologizing for taking up space. You were born to shine. Express yourself fully, whether through work, creativity, or leadership. If fear of judgment holds you back, remind yourself that people are inspired by authenticity, not perfection. Next is to take bold action without waiting for validation. Mars in Leo thrives on recognition, but your power isn't in waiting for approval. It's in acting with confidence, even when no one is watching. If you've been waiting for the right moment, create the moment yourself. Take action because you believe in yourself, not because you're hoping for applause. Show up consistently, even if it feels like no one's paying attention. Your impact is building. And finally, lead with passion and purpose. Your Mars sign is strongest when you're doing what you love and sharing it boldly. If self-doubt is creeping in, it may be because you've disconnected from your passion. Ask yourself, what excites me the most? Then make that your focus. Let go of overthinking. Your energy is magnetic when you act from joy and enthusiasm. And remind yourself that your passion and purpose are bigger than any fear. Mars in Leo has the unmatched ability to lead, create, and inspire. Your strength comes from confidence, bold action, and an unwavering belief in yourself. The moment you stop waiting for validation and start moving as if success is inevitable, you become unstoppable. A great affirmation for you is, I take fearless action and shine with confidence. If this hit, drop a comment below, and of course, be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. I appreciate you for watching. If you have Mars in Virgo, your power comes from precision, efficiency, and the ability to take smart, calculated action. Unlike other Mars signs that rely on impulse or brute force, your strength lies in strategy, mastery, and attention to detail. You don't just take action, you take the right action. But self-doubt creeps in when you overanalyze, when things don't go perfectly, or when you feel unprepared. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to break free from overthinking and start trusting in your ability to execute with confidence. Mars in Virgo operates with sharp focus and meticulous planning. This isn't an energy that rushes in blindly. It moves intelligently and efficiently. You don't waste energy on things that don't matter, and you always aim to do things right. You are driven by precision and improvement. Your motivation comes from refining, perfecting, and creating order. Your approach to challenges is logical and detail-oriented. You don't react impulsively. You assess, strategize, and execute. You thrive in organized, structured environments. Chaos and unpredictability drain your energy. You have a natural ability to problem solve. You see what others miss and know how to improve any situation. Mars in Virgo is like a highly skilled craftsman. You build things with care, ensuring everything is done properly. But when self-doubt takes over, it can lead to hesitation, over-perfectionism, or a fear of making mistakes. Self-doubt for Mars in Virgo often comes from overthinking, perfectionism, or fear of failure. Because your Mars energy is highly analytical, you can get stuck in your head instead of taking action. So this may show up where you're overanalyzing every detail. You hesitate because you want to be fully prepared before you act. Or fear of making mistakes. If you're not sure something will be perfect, you may procrastinate or avoid it altogether. Also, struggling to finish projects. You may start strong but get stuck in endless revisions instead of moving forward. Or even doubting your abilities. You have high standards for yourself, which can make you feel like you're never good enough. When Mars in Virgo hesitates, it's often because you're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from trusting yourself to improve as you go. Mars in Virgo steps into its power when it trusts its skills and takes action, even when things aren't perfect. Your strength comes from your ability to refine, adjust, and improve as you go. The first step to activate your Mars power and break through hesitation is to shift from perfection to progress. Your biggest strength is your ability to refine and improve, but when perfectionism takes over, it can keep you stuck. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for completion. Done is better than perfect. If you wait for something to be flawless, you may never finish it. Give yourself a time limit to complete something, then move on. Trust that you can always adjust later. What matters is getting started. Next is to make decisions faster and stop overthinking. Mars in Virgo loves to analyze, but too much thinking leads to inaction. The more time you spend deciding, the harder it becomes to act. Set a deadline for decisions. Give yourself a short window to choose and commit. If you feel stuck, ask, what's the simplest next step I can take right now? Trust that you can make adjustments later. You don't need every answer before you begin. And finally, take small, consistent actions. Mars in Virgo thrives on routine and consistency. Instead of waiting for a big moment of motivation, focus on small daily actions that build momentum. Create a simple action plan. Break big goals into small, manageable steps. Focus on what you can do today instead of getting overwhelmed by the entire process. And track your progress. Seeing tangible results keeps your motivation high. Mars in Virgo has the unmatched ability to refine, improve, and execute with precision. Your strength comes from smart action, attention to detail, and consistent effort. The moment you stop doubting yourself, and start trusting in your ability to improve as you go, you become unstoppable. If this resonated for you, let me know in the comments, and also be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you in your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Libra, your power comes from balance, strategy, and the ability to navigate any situation with charm and intelligence. Unlike other Mars signs that push forward with brute force or raw instinct, your strength lies in grace, persuasion, and calculated action. You don't just act, you weigh your options, consider every perspective, and move in a way that keeps harmony intact. But self-doubt creeps in when you overthink decisions, hesitate for fear of conflict, or feel unsafe about which path to take. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to reclaim your confidence and trust in your ability to take decisive action. Mars in Libra operates with precision and social awareness. Unlike impulsive Mars placements, you move with strategy and balance, ensuring that your actions are both effective and well received. You don't just want to win, you want everyone to benefit from the outcome. You are driven by fairness, justice, and relationships. You take action when it benefits both you and those around you. Your approach to challenges is charming and strategic. You don't confront problems head on. You finesse your way through them. You thrive in partnerships and collaborations, so you're strongest when working with others, not against them. And you have a natural ability to see all sides of a situation, which can be a strength or a source of hesitation. Mars in Libra is like a master negotiator, smooth, intelligent, and always aware of the bigger picture. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can lead to indecision, hesitation, or relying too much on external validation. Self-doubt for Mars in Libra often comes from overanalyzing, fear of making the wrong choice, or wanting to please everyone. Because your Mars energy is naturally diplomatic, you may struggle to take strong, independent action if you feel it might disrupt harmony. So this could show up as overthinking decisions, where you weigh every possible outcome, which can lead to analysis paralysis. Another is fear of conflict. So you may hesitate to act if it might create tension or disagreement, as well as struggling with personal desires. You may prioritize what others want over what you truly need. Also, doubting your instincts. Because you consider so many perspectives, you may second-guess your own judgment. When Mars in Libra hesitates, it's often because you're waiting for the perfect decision that pleases everyone. The key to breaking free is realizing that confidence doesn't come from making the right choice. It comes from trusting yourself to handle whatever comes next. Mars in Libra steps into its power when it embraces confident decision-making and trusts its ability to handle any outcome. You don't need to overanalyze every choice. You have the intelligence and social awareness to adjust as you go. So the first step to activate your Mars power is to make decisions quickly and stop overthinking. Your biggest strength is your ability to assess situations intelligently. But when it turns into overanalyzing, it keeps you stuck. Instead of searching for the perfect decision, focus on making the best decision for you in the moment. Give yourself a time limit when making a decision. Set a rule that you must choose within 5 minutes. If you feel stuck, ask yourself, what do I truly want, separate from what others expect? Trust that you can adjust later. Not every decision has to be permanent. Next is to take action without needing external approval. Mars in Libra thrives on connection, but you don't need everyone's agreement before making a move. If you constantly seek reassurance, it weakens your natural confidence. Make one decision this week without asking for anyone else's input. Remind yourself that your desires matter. You don't need permission to go after what you want. If fear of disapproval is holding you back, ask, am I living for myself or for other people's comfort? And finally, strengthen your assertiveness in small ways. Because you naturally seek balance, being assertive can feel uncomfortable at first. The key is to practice in small ways until it becomes second nature. Start saying no to things that don't align with your true desires. Speak up when you have an opinion, even if it goes against the majority. Take a leadership role in a situation where you'd normally step back. Mars in Libra has the unmatched ability to take intelligent, well-balanced action. Your strength comes from strategy, charm, and the ability to create win-win situations. The moment you stop overthinking and start trusting your own authority, you unlock an incredible level of confidence and success. A great affirmation for you is, I take decisive action with confidence and trust in my own judgment. If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, check out my offerings below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. Thanks so much, and I appreciate you for watching. If you have Mars in Scorpio, your power comes from intensity, resilience, and an unshakable will. Unlike other Mars signs that push forward with strength or quick decisions, your energy is deep, strategic, and almost invincible. You don't take action lightly. You move with purpose, passion, and an instinct for transformation. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel out of control, emotionally overwhelmed, or unsure whether you can trust yourself or others. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to tap into your Mars power and step fully into your unbreakable confidence. Mars in Scorpio is at home. It operates with raw intensity and a deep inner knowing. Unlike Mars in fire or air signs, this energy doesn't just take action for the sake of movement. Every decision is deliberate. Every action has meaning, and every challenge is an opportunity for transformation. You are driven by passion, power, and deep emotional conviction. You don't do anything halfway. You're either all in or all out. Your approach to challenges is strategic and fearless. You don't react impulsively. You move when the time is right. You thrive in situations that require depth, focus, and persistence. Surface level pursuits don't interest you. You have an unmatched ability to endure and rise from setbacks. Your strength is in your ability to transform pain into power. Mars in Scorpio is like a volcano, silent on the surface, but full of unstoppable force beneath. When you trust your instincts and take action from a place of inner power, there is nothing you can't accomplish. But when self-doubt takes over, it can make you feel stuck, emotionally overwhelmed, or afraid to take risk. Self-doubt for Mars in Scorpio often comes from fear of vulnerability, lack of control, or past emotional wounds. Because your Mars energy is so deeply tied to trust and power, any situation that makes you feel exposed or uncertain can trigger hesitation. So this can show up as fear of losing control. You hesitate when you can't predict or control the outcome. Emotional intensity causing overwhelm. You feel things deeply, and this can sometimes make action feel exhausting. Mistrust of others or the process. If something doesn't feel 100% right, you may hold back completely. As well as struggles with letting go. You may stay in situations longer than you should, fearing the unknown. When Mars in Scorpio hesitates, it's often because you're holding on to something that needs to be released. The key to breaking free is realizing that true power isn't in control. It's in trusting your own ability to rise, no matter what happens. Mars in Scorpio truly steps into its power when it fully trusts itself, releases fear, and embraces transformation. You thrive when you move with purpose rather than holding on to uncertainty. The first step to begin to activate your Mars power and take action with confidence is to first trust yourself and your instincts. Your intuition is razor sharp. You don't need constant validation. You already know what to do. Instead of doubting your gut, start acting on it. Stop questioning your ability to make the right decisions. You are naturally strategic and wise. When hesitation creeps in, ask, what does my gut say? Then act on it without overthinking. Let go of the need for absolute certainty. Your strength is in adapting, not controlling. Next is to release what no longer serves you. Mars in Scorpio has a habit of holding on to people, situations, and emotions for too long. But transformation is your greatest power. When something is weighing you down, it's a sign that you need to let go. Identify one thing you're clinging to that's keeping you from moving forward. Create a ritual of release. Write it down, burn it, or physically remove it from your space. Remind yourself that letting go isn't weakness, it's power. And finally, take bold action without fear of the outcome. Mars in Scorpio thrives on depth and purpose, but sometimes this can lead to fear of the unknown. The best way to break free from hesitation is to take action without needing to control every step. Choose one thing you've been avoiding and commit to doing it today. Accept that you don't need to see the full path to take the first step. And step into the energy of fearless transformation. Act as if success is inevitable. Mars in Scorpio has the unmatched ability to transform, endure, and achieve anything it sets its mind to. Your strength comes from deep emotional power, resilience, and the ability to rise stronger after every challenge. The moment you stop fearing the unknown and start trusting in your ability to handle anything, you become truly unstoppable. A great affirmation for you is, I move with confidence and embrace transformation. My power is limitless. If this resonated for you, be sure to let me know in the comments. And of course, be sure to like, share this with your friends, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, check out my offerings linked in the description box below. I'd love to guide you in your healing journey. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Sagittarius, your power comes from freedom, adventure, and an unstoppable desire to expand your horizons. Unlike other Mars signs that act based on strategy or deep introspection, your strength lies in spontaneity, optimism, and bold risk-taking. You don't sit still. You don't overthink. And you definitely don't wait for permission. You thrive when you're moving forward, learning, and chasing big possibilities. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel restricted, when fear of failure slows you down, or when you start questioning whether your dreams are too big. If hesitation has been holding you back, it's time to fully embrace your Mars power and move forward with unshakable confidence. Mars in Sagittarius operates with fire, excitement, and endless curiosity. You're not designed for routine or small thinking. Your energy is meant to expand, explore, and break past limitations. You are driven by adventure, learning, and new experiences. If something feels repetitive or limiting, you lose motivation. Your approach to challenges is bold and optimistic. You don't fear failure. You see it as a part of the journey. You thrive when you have freedom to explore. Rigid structures and rules make you feel trapped. You have a natural ability to inspire and uplift others. Your enthusiasm is contagious when you're fully in your power. Mars in Sagittarius is like a wild flame, untamed, expansive, and always reaching for something bigger. When you follow your instincts and take action from a place of excitement, nothing can stop you. But when self-doubt creeps in, it can lead to restlessness, avoidance, or feeling lost in too many possibilities. Self-doubt for Mars and Sagittarius often comes from fear of failure, lack of direction, or feeling restricted. Because your Mars energy thrives on movement and freedom, anything that makes you feel stuck or limited can make you hesitate. So this can show up as a fear of making the wrong choice. You love variety, so committing to one path can feel overwhelming. Also, doubt about whether your dreams are realistic. Your ambitions are big, and sometimes self-doubt makes you wonder if you can really pull them off. Also, restlessness and lack of follow-through. You may start strong, but then hesitate to finish if something stops feeling exciting. And resistance to structure or planning. You want to take action now, but when you hit obstacles, you may second guess yourself. When Mars in Sagittarius hesitates, it's often because you're overthinking the future instead of taking action in the present. The key to breaking free is realizing that confidence doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from embracing the adventure and trusting yourself to handle whatever comes next. Mars in Sagittarius truly steps into its power when it stops hesitating and fully embraces action, adventure, and limitless possibility. Your strength comes from movement, so the more you take action, the more powerful you feel. Now, the first way for you to activate your Mars power is to trust that no experience is ever wasted. You might fear making the wrong decision, but Mars in Sagittarius is here to explore, learn, and evolve. Every choice leads to growth, so there's no such thing as wasted time. Take action on what excites you the most instead of waiting for the perfect path. If something doesn't work out, pivot and move forward instead of seeing it as failure. Shift your mindset from "I need certainty" to "I thrive in possibility." Next is to commit to a goal and see it through. Mars in Sagittarius is full of big ideas, but follow through can sometimes be a challenge. The key is to set a goal that excites you and stick with it, even when the excitement fades. Choose one big, meaningful goal and make a commitment to finish it. Break it down into small, flexible steps. Rigid planning doesn't work for you, but a general roadmap keeps you moving. And stay focused, even when it stops feeling fun. Remind yourself that true freedom comes from finishing what you start. And finally, take a bold leap without overthinking it. Your power is in movement, expansion, and taking risk. The longer you wait, the more hesitation builds. Instead of thinking about action, just take it. Say yes to something that excites you, even if it feels scary. Book the trip, sign up for the class, or start the project. Whatever your gut is pulling you toward, do it. Let go of the need for a perfect plan. You learn best through experience. Mars in Sagittarius has the unmatched ability to expand, take risk, and inspire others with fearless action. Your strength comes from embracing adventure, trusting the unknown, and boldly moving forward. The moment you stop hesitating and start exploring, you unlock an unstoppable source of confidence and success. A great affirmation for you is, "I move boldly in the direction of my dreams, knowing that every step leads me to greater possibilities." If this resonated for you, drop a comment and let me know. And be sure to like, share this with friends who could also benefit from this message, and subscribe for more. And if this really hit home, check out my offerings below. I'd love to help you tap into your power. I appreciate you, and thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Capricorn, your power comes from discipline, strategy, and long-term success. You are wired for achievement, but self-doubt creeps in when you feel like you're not making fast enough progress, or when you don't have a solid plan. Unlike other Mars signs that thrive on impulse or immediate action, your energy is steady, methodical, and deeply rooted in long-term vision. The key to overcoming hesitation is understanding how your Mars sign naturally builds momentum and using that to your advantage. Mars in Capricorn is one of the strongest placements for Mars because it operates with precision, endurance, and focus. This is not an energy that wastes time on impulsive action. It is grounded, strategic, and highly disciplined. When you take action, it is deliberate and designed to create lasting success. Your motivation is driven by progress and mastery. You don't just want to do something, you want to do it exceptionally well. You are naturally disciplined even when you don't feel motivated. Once you commit to a goal, you follow through. Your approach to challenges is practical and results-oriented. You don't take unnecessary risk, but you also don't back down easily. You work best when there is a clear structure or roadmap guiding you. Without one, hesitation and overthinking can creep in. Mars in Capricorn doesn't rush. You take calculated steps that ensure long-term success. You are the type to build something brick by brick, ensuring that what you create is sustainable and meaningful. This ability to stay the course is a powerful asset, but when self-doubt interferes, it can make you feel stuck, hesitant, or overly critical of your own progress. Self-doubt shows up for Mars in Capricorn when there is a lack of visible progress or a lack of a structured plan. Because your Mars sign thrives on long-term results, you may struggle with feeling like you're not moving fast enough, that you need more experience before taking action, or that you won't succeed unless everything is perfectly aligned. So this comes with a fear of imperfection. So you might hold yourself back because you want to ensure you're making the right move, but this leads to overthinking instead of action. This can also show up as comparison to others. Seeing others succeed quickly can make you doubt your own timeline, but your Mars sign is designed for slow, sustainable success, not fleeting wins. And this also can bring up a need for external validation. If others don't recognize your work right away, you may second guess whether you're on the right path. When Mars in Capricorn hesitates, it's not due to laziness, it's due to a fear of failure or a feeling of being unprepared. The irony is that you are naturally one of the most capable Mars placements, but your hesitation can make you forget that. The key to overcoming self-doubt is understanding that success is built through consistent action, not by waiting for the perfect conditions. The best way for Mars in Capricorn to step into its power is to take deliberate, strategic action. Instead of waiting for certainty, recognize that momentum builds through movement. So, the way that you can do this is first, reframe success as a long-term game. Your Mars sign is naturally designed for slow and steady progress. The biggest mistake you can make is expecting immediate results. When you feel self-doubt creeping in, remind yourself, success isn't about how fast you move. It's about the consistency of your actions. The most powerful moves are small, deliberate steps taken every day. The more you focus on long-term mastery instead of instant results, the more unstoppable you become. Next is to take imperfect action. Mars and Capricorn can get stuck in over-preparation mode. You may feel like you need to learn more, plan more, or wait for the perfect opportunity. But waiting too long leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to stagnation. Choose one thing you've been overthinking and take a step toward it today. Give yourself permission to start before you feel ready. And shift your mindset from, I need to be perfect, to, I will refine and improve as I go. The moment you start moving, your confidence will grow. Next is to create a structured action plan. Mars in Capricorn thrives on structure. When you don't have a clear direction, you feel stuck. The best way to activate your Mars power is to create a simple, actionable plan that gives you clarity and momentum. Write down a 3-step plan for your next goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a basic roadmap. Focus on one goal at a time. Too many distractions can drain your Mars energy. And track your progress. Seeing tangible results keeps your motivation high. Mars in Capricorn has the unmatched ability to turn dreams into reality. Your strength comes from your ability to stay focused, committed, and resilient. When you trust yourself enough to take action without waiting for perfection, you become an unstoppable force. You don't have to move fast to be powerful. You just have to keep moving. If this resonated for you, definitely let me know in the comments, and be sure to share this with your friends who can also benefit from this information, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below that are all designed to guide you in dramatically elevating your life. Thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Aquarius, your power comes from innovation, independence, and the ability to think outside the box. You're wired to break free from limitations and forge your own path. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel like you don't fit in, when your ideas seem too unconventional, or when external pressure makes you question your direction. Unlike other Mars signs that push forward through discipline or raw instinct, your power comes from tapping into your individuality and trusting your unique way of doing things. Mars in Aquarius operates differently from other Mars placements. It doesn't act based on impulse, logic, or emotion alone. Instead, it acts based on vision and alignment. If something doesn't excite or inspire you, you won't have the energy to pursue it. But when you fully believe in what you're doing, you become unstoppable. You are driven by progress, change, and purpose. Your Mars energy is strongest when you feel like you're contributing to something meaningful. Your approach to action is unpredictable. Sometimes you move forward with lightning speed. Other times you hesitate because you're overanalyzing the bigger picture. You thrive in unconventional, non-restrictive environments. If something feels too traditional or structured, it drains your energy. You are naturally independent. You don't follow the crowd. and you often feel energized when breaking away from societal expectations. Mars in Aquarius is the sign of the innovator, the rebel, the forward thinker. You're not here to do things the way others expect. You're here to challenge the norm and create something entirely new. But when self-doubt creeps up, it can disconnect you from your natural confidence and make you question your place in the world. Self-doubt for Mars in Aquarius often comes from feeling different, misunderstood, or disconnected from a clear path. Because you don't fit neatly into a box, you may hesitate to take action if you feel like you're the only one thinking a certain way. So this can show up as a fear of being misunderstood. You have bold ideas and a unique approach to life, but if others don't get it, you may start questioning yourself. This can also show up as a lack of emotional connection to action. Now, unlike Mars in fire signs that act on passion or Mars in earth signs that act on logic, you act on inspiration. If something doesn't feel meaningful, you struggle to take action. And this can also show up as overthinking the future. So your mind is always ahead of the present moment. This can lead to hesitation because you're constantly analyzing long-term possibilities instead of focusing on what you can do right now. When Mars in Aquarius hesitates, it's not because of fear, it's because of uncertainty. You may hold back because you're unsure of how things will unfold, or because you feel like you're waiting for the right opportunity to make an impact. But waiting too long can cause you to feel disconnected from your own power. Mars in Aquarius steps into its power by fully embracing its individuality and trusting in action, even when the path isn't clear. Your strength comes from moving forward on your own terms without waiting for external validation. The first way that you can begin to activate your Mars power is to own your uniqueness without apology. One of the biggest sources of hesitation for Mars in Aquarius is the fear of being too different. But your power lies in your originality. The more you try to conform, the weaker your energy becomes. Stop waiting for approval or validation. Your ideas are ahead of their time, and not everyone will understand them immediately. If something excites you but seems unconventional, pursue it anyway. Remind yourself that being different is an advantage, not a weakness. Next is to take action before you have it all figured out. Mars in Aquarius loves to analyze and think ahead, but sometimes this leads to paralysis by analysis. You may hold back on taking action because you're waiting for all the pieces to make sense. But action creates clarity. Waiting does not. Focus on one small action you can take today without overthinking the long-term consequences. Trust that even if you don't know the full picture yet, the right path will reveal itself as you move forward. Let go of the need for everything to make logical sense before you begin. Next is to break free from limiting structures and routines. Mars in Aquarius does not thrive in rigid, structured environments. If you're feeling stuck, it may be because you're trying to force yourself into a system that doesn't work for you. Change your environment. Switch up your routine, work in new spaces, or surround yourself with people who inspire you. Experiment with different ways of taking action. Maybe you need spontaneity instead of planning, or maybe working in bursts of energy suits you better than slow, steady effort. Give yourself permission to create your own structure instead of following what works for others. Mars in Aquarius is here to break barriers and bring change, but that only happens when you trust yourself enough to take action. Your biggest power move is to act without waiting for approval, certainty, or the perfect conditions. You thrive when you give yourself the freedom to do things differently. A great affirmation for you is, I trust my unique path and take bold action toward my vision. If this resonated for you, definitely let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, share with your friends who can also benefit from this information, and subscribe for more. And if this really spoke to you, be sure to check out my offerings linked in the description box below that are all designed to guide you in dramatically elevating your life. Thanks so much for watching. If you have Mars in Pisces, your power comes from intuition, creativity, and emotional depth. Unlike other Mars signs that push forward with logic, aggression, or strategy, your strength lies in flow and inner knowing. You are meant to move in a way that feels aligned, not forced. But self-doubt creeps in when you feel lost, overwhelmed, or uncertain about which direction to take. You may struggle with inaction because your Mars energy is deeply tied to emotion. When you're inspired, you move effortlessly. But when fear or uncertainty clouds your vision, hesitation takes over. Mars in Pisces operates in a way that is completely different from traditional Mars energy. This isn't a sign that charges forward aggressively. It moves with a deep sense of intuition and flow. If something doesn't feel right, you won't be able to force yourself into action. But when you're inspired, you can take incredible leaps forward. Your motivation is driven by emotion, creativity, and purpose. You need to feel connected to what you're doing to take action. Your approach to challenges is fluid. You don't battle obstacles head on. You find creative, intuitive ways around them. You thrive in dreamlike, limitless spaces. If you feel too restricted or forced into rigid structures, you shut down. You are highly adaptable. You don't move in straight lines. You allow life to guide you in unexpected ways. Mars in Pisces is a deeply spiritual and visionary placement. It doesn't operate through brute force, but through alignment. Your strength comes from your ability to trust the unseen, follow your intuition, and create from a space of deep knowing. But when self-doubt interferes, it can disconnect you from your inner guidance, leaving you feeling unsure, scattered, or incapable of making clear decisions. Self-doubt for Mars in Pisces often comes from uncertainty, overwhelm, or fear of failure. Because you don't operate in a straightforward, structured way, you may compare yourself to others who seem more decisive or action-oriented, leading to feelings of insecurity. This can lead to feeling lost or directionless. You need to feel inspired to act, but if you don't know what excites you, you may drift aimlessly instead of taking initiative. This may also show up as a fear of failure or rejection. Pisces energy is deeply sensitive, and you may hesitate to put yourself out there because you fear not being good enough. This can also show up as being overwhelmed by too many options. Your mind is expansive, and when faced with too many choices, you may struggle to take action at all. Also, this can show as a tendency to avoid confrontation. If something feels too difficult, you may procrastinate or retreat instead of dealing with it directly. When Mars in Pisces hesitates, it's often because the path forward feels unclear or uninspiring. You don't thrive in rigid goal setting. And when you try to force yourself into a system that doesn't work for you, you feel stuck. The key to overcoming self-doubt is learning to trust yourself and take intuitive action, even when the path isn't fully visible. Mars in Pisces steps into their power when it stops overthinking and starts trusting its own inner guidance. Your strength comes from your ability to move with faith, creativity, and emotional flow. The first way for you to activate your Mars power is to trust your intuition and take inspired action. Your Mars energy is strongest when you are aligned with your inner knowing. Unlike other Mars signs that thrive on external validation or logical planning, you thrive when you act based on what feels right. Stop forcing yourself into action that doesn't feel aligned. Instead, ask yourself, what excites or inspires me right now? If you feel disconnected from your intuition, spend time in silence, meditation, or creative expression to reconnect. And take action, even if you don't fully understand why. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come from just trusting the unknown. Next is to break free from perfectionism and fear of judgment. Mars in Pisces can hold back because of self-doubt, fear of failure, or fear of criticism. You may hesitate to share your work, ideas, or emotions because you worry they won't be good enough. But your power comes from authentic expression. Let go of the need to be perfect before you take action. Raw, imperfect action is still progress. If fear of judgment is holding you back, remind yourself that your unique perspective is needed in the world. Allow yourself to be seen, even if it feels vulnerable. Your energy is most powerful when you share your gifts freely. Next is to create gentle structure and flow-based routines. Because Mars in Pisces struggles with traditional discipline, you need a flexible approach to action. Instead of rigid planning, try creating fluid, adaptable structures that keep you moving forward without feeling restricted. Set small, flexible goals that allow room for creativity and change. Work with cycles, inspiration, and natural energy rhythms rather than forcing yourself into routines that don't fit. And use music, visualization, or spiritual practices to get into a state of inspired action. Mars in Pisces has the unique ability to turn dreams into reality, but only when you trust yourself enough to act. Your greatest strength is your intuition, creativity, and ability to move with the universe rather than against it. When you stop doubting yourself and start following what feels right, you unlock an unstoppable source of energy and success. A great affirmation for you is, I move with trust and flow. My intuition guides me to success effortlessly. If this resonated with you, be sure to drop me a comment below. Also, be sure to like, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if this really hit home, be sure to check out my offerings linked below to dive even deeper. I'd love to help you shift into your next level. Thanks so much for watching.